Hey there, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here. Today I'm doing sort of a follow-up video on my weBoost antenna. If you're not familiar with these things, it's basically a cell signal booster. So if you go to a lot of remote places, if you go overlanding or camping out in areas where there is cell phone service but it's sort of spotty, and sometimes maybe a text comes through and sometimes it doesn't and never does the whole night, then this may be a good option for you. I will put a card up here to a video that I did that really walks you through it and gives you the in detail, sort of showing the comparison of before using it and then after using it and what kind of an increase you can expect from that. On today's video, I'm just going to be talking about sort of my long-term pros and cons and my long-term feelings about this thing and whether it's worth it to buy and when it's worth it to buy. So if you want to learn more about that, stay tuned. So if you're not familiar, the weBoost is made up of essentially three components. There is this big long antenna, which is what pulls down and receives the signal from the cell towers. There's also this box, which is the booster. I've mounted mine down on the floorboard kind of out of the way over here to the left just to make it sure that it's out of the way. Also made it easier to wire the wire coming into it and then run the output up through the dash to the third part of this system. The third part of this system is the output antenna. So once the signal comes into the big antenna on the roof and goes through the booster, it then goes through this amplifier here, which spreads the signal to the inside of your vehicle and gives you that boosted signal that allows you to get better reception. So again, I've had this thing for about a year now. It's very simple. I like how simple it is. It works very, very well overall, and I will kind of give you the instances where it does and where it doesn't. There are some downsides though too, and I will walk you through those. So let's start with pros. So again, it is not a magic bullet. It's not gonna give you cell phone reception where there is none. If you have a little bit of cell phone reception and you just need a little bit of a boost to get a text through or a quick call to your significant other or to check up on your kids or whatever the case may be, or if you spend a lot of time in the outdoors, right? If you're an avid camper or overlander like myself, where you spend a good number of nights per year out in the woods, this is a great buy because you get so much value out of it. Again, once you initially purchase the thing, there's no subscription. It's not like an inReach or anything like that, which an inReach is $350, $400, plus then you have to pay for your usage. With this, once you buy it, that's it. There's no additional cost. It's always boosting the signal. It works with 5G. And again, it is not a miracle worker, but it will make a significant difference in the reception you have. If you have some reception out in the wilderness, this will boost it so that it will allow you to get through some messages and things often. Other pros are, especially with the OTR, which I will put a link in the description to the one that I bought, you can use it for multiple devices in your vehicle. So I've had times where I've been out camping and people were giving me a hard time about the weBoost, and it was in the summer, and I had my windows rolled down, and I was like, well, I'm just going to go over to my truck really quick and send a text to my wife or check Facebook or whatever the case may be, right? I was like, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to check it. Within a couple minutes, I had like 3 guys on each side of the truck, all like leaning into the truck with their cell phones out, like, holy crap, I can check Facebook. Oh my God, I can text my wife. This is amazing, right? And it was really cool. Like after them giving me so much crap about it, it was really cool to see them using it and going, oh, I get it now. Like I get it. Yes, it's not magical. Yes, it's not going to change your life per se. But if you needed reception and you are sort of dependent on your cell phone for whether it be GPS directions or texting, communications, that sort of thing, it can definitely be an assist, a help, right? So let's get into cons. Cons are, it's pricey. It's about $500. So again, I had to think really long and hard about it. I actually had a specific example where my dog ate something and my wife tried calling me and the call kept dropping. And I was like, is my dog dying? Should I leave and come home? I was hours away from home. I didn't know if I should like get in and leave, or I couldn't, and I could not get back a hold of her. I'm like, it's the middle of the night. It's like midnight. I'm walking through the woods like this with my cell phone, trying to get reception, trying to get a text through so that I can find out if my dog is literally dying, right? So I kid you not, after that night, I went home, I looked this thing up and I bought it. And again, I've had it for about a year now and I would not change a thing. I'm up in Wisconsin right now and I love that I have it because it gives me, I'm out by a frozen lake right now. And I was able to text my buddy that I'm meeting up with and say, hey, here's my location. I'm out here and I have 2 bars of service, which I had almost none when I came in here. So again, not a magical thing, not going to be able to stream Netflix or anything like that. But for my type of uses, for the fact that I am typically not so far out that I have no reception, I just have maybe scant reception or very little reception, this is a game changer for me because it gives me access to things that I otherwise wouldn't have access to in these types of locations. Other cons are the size of that antenna is pretty aggressive. You can adjust it. There are, like, you can screw in different size poles and things like that. I like to have the max reception, so I went with the longest pole that they gave me. However, on some of the tighter trails that I've been on, that thing is smacking against trees. I'm shocked that it hasn't been torn off the truck. It does come with a spring, so it does, move around and stuff. On the highway, I've had people, that I'm with, like, radio me and say, dude, that thing is all over the place, just waving around. But again, no problems. It's not causing any problems. It's just kind of an annoyance when it smacks around or smacks into the roof. And it's really, really long. So like if you were going to park in your garage, you'd want to probably find some sort of like a folding mount or something like that, just to make it a little bit more usable. It's also tall enough with my lifted truck that I have to be a little bit careful in drive-thrus and especially like parking garages. I can't really go into parking garages. So that's definitely a con if you live in a city or anywhere like that where you go through a lot of drive-thrus. All right, so let's talk final thoughts on the Wilson weBoost. Personally, for my style of overlanding, which again is a lot of like Wisconsin, Michigan, I'm Midwest, right? Sometimes to like Ozarks, Missouri, that area. I've been to West Virginia, so I've kind of been all over the place. For my type of overlanding, I am not, again, so far out that I have absolutely no reception. I will have a very little bit, and this will boost it enough that I can use my cell phone for communication, text messages, GPS, that kind of thing. So again, for that style of overlanding or camping, I think it's fantastic. If you're on the road a lot, if you spend a lot of time in the woods, here's the other thing too. I bought mine through Amazon. The link in the description below is through Amazon. If you buy it and you go to your normal national forest, the place where you normally spend time, and it doesn't work for you, return it, right? Like you could do that. That is an option. I considered that. When I was, pressing that buy button for $500, I was like, if I go to my normal national forest where I spend a bunch of time and it doesn't work, I'm going to return the thing. So that is an option too, right? It's not like if you buy it through like an Amazon or someplace with a decent return policy, then you could go test it out, try it out really soon after you buy it, make sure that it's going to work for you and be a good purchase. And then if not, return the thing, right? So again, overall, I really, really like this thing. I know that it's pricey. If you go out a lot, it will be worth it in the long run. Just 1 or 2 times where you really need to get a hold of your wife or they need to get a hold of you, that in and of itself is worth it for me. And the fact that there's no additional charge, no additional things to be paid for, no service, no charges for usage is really, really nice. So the longer I have it, the better my value is, right? So again, those were kind of my final thoughts. I hope that's helpful for you guys. I hope that if you are looking for something like this, that you don't write it off. There are some cheaper options out there too now. I have not personally used those. I imagine that from a design standpoint, from an engineering standpoint, they are similar. I do know that Wilson is kind of like the big name, and I know from my own personal use that this thing's pretty awesome. It works really, really well. But you could check out those options too, right? Just saying, I'm a cheap guy too. I totally get it. Check out whatever you want. Click through that link below in the description though. Check out the Wilson and then see what you find and test it out and see if it works for you. But again, thanks for watching. If you're not already, in the description below are links to Facebook, Instagram. I've got a podcast. I've got a Patreon page. We've got a Discord now. It's super fun. So kind of a small dedicated group of overlanders that like to talk about overlanding stuff a lot. Constant access to me. So definitely if you're interested in that, check that out. And then also a newbie overlanders page on Facebook, which is growing really, really fast. Over 2,000 members already. It's only been a couple months. So super excited about that, to be helping out new folks and kind of avoiding some of the hassling and just the bullying that happens on those bigger pages. So definitely check that out as well. Again, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next week.